दोस्तों, good morning. Uh, I have not been able to talk to you for the last 2, 3 days as I've been out of the country, and now I'm free. I'm going to talk to you on some very important topics. There have been a lot of developments actually, and as I told you, I am not going to tell you the news. I'm going to analyze what has happened. First, I will discuss the visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to America, and then we shall discuss about the image of India abroad. These are the two things I'm going to discuss on this point. And I'm not going to talk on Gaza and Ukraine, which I'll reserve for another video. Gentlemen, आप जानते हो कि मोदी जी अमेरिका गए, 2 दिन की यात्रा थी. डोनाल्ड ट्रंप से भी मिले वो, एंड उनके साथ जो हमारे सिक्योरिटी एडवाइजर है अजीत डोवल, ही वाज देयर. एंड जो हमारी प्रेस है, they have been giving a lot of good reports about Modi's visit to America. एक बात याद रखिए कि अमेरिका नीड्स इंडिया मोर देन इंडिया नीड्स अमेरिका. तो इस कारण अमेरिकन जो थे, इन्होंने काफी हद तक इंडिया की खुशामद की, एंड लॉट ऑफ गुड थिंग्स डोनाल्ड ट्रंप ने कही इंडिया के बारे. बट अगर आप बिटवीन द लाइंस पढ़े तो ये शो करता है कि अमेरिका इज नॉट ऑल दैट फ्रेंडली टू इंडिया. That point we must bear in mind. And I don't think the visit was such a success. सबसे पहले आप देखिए, मोदी पर्सनली वॉज ऑफ कलर. 2 मीटिंग्स उन्होंने प्रेस के साथ की अलॉन्ग विद प्रेसिडेंट डोनाल्ड ट्रंप, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली मोदी वॉज ऑफ कलर. आप देख सकते हैं कि ही वॉज ऑफ कलर, जेडेड लग रहे थे. एंड एट नंबर ऑफ प्लेसेस जब उनको अंग्रेजी में सवाल पूछा गया, ही वॉज आंसरिंग इन हिंदी. सो ये एक बात मुझे समझ में नहीं आई, क्योंकि इंग्लिश जो है इज द एक्सट्रेट ऑफिशियल लैंग्वेज ऑफ इंडिया, एंड इफ समबडी हैज आस्क्ड मी क्वेश्चन इन इंग्लिश, यू शुड रिप्लाई इन इंग्लिश. ही डिडंट डू दैट. दैट वाज द फर्स्ट थिंग. एंड सेकेंडली, ही अवॉइडेड ए लॉट ऑफ इश्यूज. यू सी, कोई भी जो ग्रेट लीडर हैज टू स्ट्राइक द नेल ऑन द हेड. आप हिस्टोरिकली देखिए, जब स्टालिन था या चर्चिल था, रूजवेल्ट थे, they were great leaders and they hit the nail on the head. Even Mao Zedong is one of the greats of the 20th century, and he was not skirting the issues here and there. इसमें एक बात कन्वर्सेशन, एक क्वेश्चन पूछा गया to President Donald Trump, and that was something to do with terrorism. And Donald Trump said that the biggest danger to the world is Islamic terrorism. जब मोदी की टर्न आई बोलने के लिए, ही यूज द वर्ड ओनली टेररिज्म एंड इस्लामिक नहीं यूज किया. नाउ दिस इज समथिंग वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड कि व्हाई ही शुड डू लाइक दिस, व्हाई ही वाज स्केयर्ड टू यूज द वर्ड इस्लामिक. दैट इज नंबर वन. नंबर टू, I think Donald Trump has offered the latest weapons to India because that will offset the trade imbalance. Because बहुत important as far as Donald Trump is concerned, that the trade should be properly balanced and there should be reciprocal tariffs on both sides. And in this bargain, he has offered India the F-35. Now, एक बात याद रखिए, what he has offered to India is the aircraft and not the technology. इंडिया चाहता है कि आत्मनिर्भर करो, we should make the plane in India, which they are not going to do it. Americans are not going to do it, not going to give the plane to India to manufacture in India. And the F-35, India cannot say no to Donald Trump's offer. And it is like Hobson's choice. आपकी कोई choice नहीं है. You have to take the plane. And if you don't take it, you're going to antagonize Donald Trump. The Indians have another offer also of the Su-57, which is the Russian fighter, and India have been buying Russian planes for last 60 years, ever since 1960 when India first bought the MiG-21. And now the MiG-21, later on the production started in India. The Russians have offered India technology and says the plane, the Su-57, will be manufactured in India. So there are two different things. सबसे पहले तो ये बात याद रखिए the F-35 is a much superior fighter, number one. As an Air Force man, I can tell you the F-35 is unmatched as far as the world is concerned. Neither the Chinese nor the Russians have a plane of that capability. But the Russian plane is also good to a degree, but they are giving India technology and the plane could be manufactured in India, like the MiG-21 was being manufactured in India. So, gentlemen, now you have the option choice, but you cannot say no to the American plane, to the American offer, because Donald Trump has officially announced that we are going to sell the plane to India. And Modi was again found wanting because he didn't know what the hell to do in this case. Secondly, Donald Trump ने बहुत जोर से कहा कि he is going to stop not only the Palestine war, which he has agreed, and it has been stopped, but he also said that the Gaza Strip will be taken over by Donald Trump, and there again, Modi was wanting. He didn't say whether it was right or wrong. He kept sitting mum. Now, what is this policy? Either you move with the Americans, या मैंने कई बार बोला है, or you have to go with the Russians. You cannot sit on the fence कि मैं Arabs को भी खुश करता रहूं, or I should do, chamchagiri of the Americans also. It's not possible. Because Donald Trump is a different sort of man. He's a very dynamic man. And Modi is not dynamic. Modi has got no influence over Donald Trump at all. Let us accept the fact. And the latest thing which has happened, आप जानते हो कि so many hundreds of Indian illegal migrants have been captured in the United States and deported back to India. But the net result is very bad as far as the image of India and Modi is concerned. Because these people were brought in fetters and handcuffs. And despite the request by the Indian Prime Minister perhaps, and even the Foreign Minister, that not to apply chains and handcuffs to these men, the Americans have not agreed. What they are doing now is that just half an hour before the plane lands, they remove the fetters and the handcuffs and they're taken off. You can just imagine the plight of these fellows who have been chained for 36 hours in the flight from America to India because the plane stops in Germany for refueling. So, gentlemen, it's a very, very sad situation. All I can say is, but India's image is greatly dented. Dented because so many hundreds of people from Gujarat, Haryana, and Punjab are escaping from India to what they feel are better pastures in America. Do you think of any other state in India en masse people going abroad to America, say like Andhra Pradesh or Maharashtra? One odd person goes from there, but wholesale people from Punjab, Haryana, and Gujarat are willing to pay 70 to 80 lakhs to go to America. This is very sad. It's not good for the Indian image. And generally, people will feel that the Indians want to run away from their country. And come what may, they want to go to America, which they feel is the El Dorado, the land of gold. Where America is economically very advanced, but everybody cannot go there. And it surprises me that people who don't know a word of English think that they'll go and settle down in America. It's not possible. I don't understand how this has happened. But it just shows that the Indian economy, the Indian state has failed. And these people are going. And now the opposition is shouting that, well, India's should take up the case with Donald Trump that these people to be treated better. If you ask me, I don't think they deserve any good treatment at all of what has happened. And these people need to be chastised properly. So they realize that what they've done is one of the big blunders and they have insulted the Indian state. I have been talking to my friends in America and they tell me I'm talking to people from the US Air Force and they tell me what the hell is going on, Captain? Why are these people coming to India and coming illegally? Why can't they come with a proper visa? And they are coming through dangerous paths, through jungles and forests just to enter America. And they are willing to pay exorbitant sums of money for this. So, gentlemen, this was the point which probably came up for discussion with Donald Trump. But Donald Trump prevailed and he told the Indians very clearly, look, friends, you have to take these, and India agreed that we'll take them. However, one good aspect is that I think the backbone of the Khalistan movement will be broken because most of the Khalistanis in America are there illegally and they have been sorted out now. So I don't think the Indian visit to Modi's visit to America was such a big success. In the sense he was presented with no choice. He had to accept the F-35 and if you refuse it, well, it's at your own peril. And secondly, he's been very clear that the tariffs on the American goods must be reduced. Now, India was having very high tariffs, I think one of the highest in the world, basically to protect the Indian domestic industry. But the problem is the Indian domestic industry is not a match to global industry. The Indian cars we made by Tata and Mahindra are just not a match to the global industry. I go to Dubai very often where I find Toyotas and other cars running all over. I don't find a single Tata or Mahindra car there or any other Indian car. Nobody wants to buy them because their performance is poor and they don't last. So why is it that India cannot manufacture world-class goods and compete with the West or even with China? That is the point to be noted here. And by being protectionist and saying, well, you don't put duty on our goods, but we'll put duty of 150% on your goods, is not going to work now. Because Donald Trump is a different sort of a man who believes that America has to be great. I mean, he's not a pro-India man at all, let's accept the fact. He's a man who is pro-America. And though there are many Indians in his cabinet, very important Indians, but at the same time, I don't think he's pro-India at all. But at the same time, मैंने अभी आपको बताया था कि डोनाल्ड ट्रंप नीड्स इंडिया, उसको इंडिया की जरूरत है because India is the bulwark against China. That is why he has offered the F-35 to India and probably a lot of other sophisticated weaponry will come to India from America. And India will be able to buy these weaponry worth billions of dollars and the trade deficit, which is about 70 or 80 billion dollars, will be balanced. But India will also have to reduce the tariffs. He's very clear about it. Already there has been some reduction, like the Harley Davidson duty is reduced to 30% now, and imported cars duty is also reduced to 30%. See, it is very easy to put duty on the foreign goods. They will not sell in India because then it becomes uncompetitive to buy them. But if you want to trade with America now, you have to have reciprocal tariffs. So Modi could not convince Donald on the tariffs. He could not convince him on the F-35 properly, on the other weaponry, and at the same time, the Americans made no statement in favor of Kashmir, which was conspicuously absent from the joint communique which was issued. And another thing, आप देखिए, what happened was, there was a question asked to Modi and Donald Trump about Bangladesh. And Bangladesh is very important as far as India is concerned. And Donald Trump gave a very nice answer. He said, I have left this issue to Modi. And Modi was sitting silent there. He has already missed the bus as far as Bangladesh is concerned. And I don't think it is possible for India at this stage now to go and create any havoc in Bangladesh. Of course, Muhammad Yunus is terribly scared what may happen because Bangladesh army is of no great shakes that they can give any battle anywhere. What was required moment when Sheikh Hasina had run away from there, from Bangladesh, the Indians should have militarily intervened. I don't know what delayed, what was the problem. We have seen that Turkey intervenes in Syria as and when they feel like. They don't bother about America. But in Modi, strangely, was very, very reticent. Second thing, gentlemen, I had mentioned कि इंडिया की इमेज जो है ग्लोबली बहुत खराब है because India must be the only country in the world जहाँ tens of people die during holy festivals. And all over the globe ये information चली गई है कि दिल्ली स्टेशन में there was a mass stampede of people who were going for the Kumbh Mela and almost 20 people died. Maybe more, I don't know. I won't hazard a guess. And again in the Kumbh Mela, where millions of people had gone to expiate their sins, another 20 people died in a stampede. Now, this is not good. In January, if you remember, in India, at Tirupati, there was a stampede and another 10 people or something had died. Now, the people who are sitting abroad, they wonder what the hell is going on in India. I say, how come people just going for holy festivals die? Why doesn't it happen in America? Why doesn't it happen in Italy, where there are a lot of holy places? Why doesn't it happen in, say, Israel or Saudi Arabia? Incidents do take place there, but that's 1 in 20 years. And here we have incident every month. There is a lack of incompetence, the total incompetence of the administration. And after the latest fiasco in Delhi, which is a short, callous mistake of the Indian government, the least that should have happened is that two people, that the railway minister and the home minister should have resigned. But accountability is not something which the BJP believes in. And these two people, particularly the home minister, who is responsible for Delhi, is still strutting around the stage like he's the king of the cocks. So, gentlemen, it's very, very sad, I can tell you, that the Indian image is greatly dented abroad, and as a nationalist, I feel very sad about it. So, the Indian press, there are so many people, they're not pinning the blame on the government and saying, Are they were overcrowding, this thing, that thing. The government is supposed to govern and they're supposed to anticipate these things. And they knew that so many people are coming. The railway board knew there should have been extra trains, extra military personnel, that is the Central Reserve Police, or maybe they could have got even the other paramilitary organizations like the CISF or the Indo-Tibetan Border Police. They could have got them there to control the crowds. And of course, the Indians have a blind faith ever since the BJP has taken over in Hinduism, and everyone wanted to go to the Kumbh. But that's a good thing. But whoever had to go to the Kumbh has to be protected. And there was total failure in that regard. The first thing I've already said, that the Indian migrating abroad by huge sums of money to go to America shows that they don't want to live in India at all. And India is a country they'd like to get away from. It is a very sad issue. Now the situation, as far as I understand, is one of the army officers told me that the Sikhs are not coming forward to join the Sikh regiments. And all the time they're thinking of dreaming of going to either to Canada or to United States. And Indians are being pillarized now. Nobody likes them. I had talked with one of my friends in Canada who settled there for the last almost 3 decades, and he had gone out in Toronto and somebody shouted at him, Are, here's another illegal immigrant. And why don't you go back to India? Now, if to a man who spent 30 years in Canada, this is very sad. He went on legal visa, and the Indians are the butt of the contempt, and people are very, very, forthright as far as America and Canada is concerned. And now all Indians are tarnished with the brush, that they are horrible people or something like that, who come. India has been equated with impoverished and hungry countries like Honduras or Ecuador or something like that, Mexico. and even they don't have so many of people influx into America like India has got. So, gentlemen, two major points on Modi's visit. I don't think the visit was a big success. Firstly, Modi is not press savvy. That's number one. He's scared of meeting the press. He can't talk, and that is the crux of the issue. Secondly, he is sitting on the fence all the time. It's time that Modi called, as the saying goes, bite the bullet. You can't get away with it. You've got to bite the bullet. And if you support the American plan, you've got to come out. And if you don't come out, I think Donald Trump is going to hold it against you. So the visit, I don't think, was a good PR exercise. That's number one. Number two, as you know, the image of India is badly dented abroad because of all these deaths being going on and stampedes and all that nonsense, which could have been easily avoided. And there's no accountability. I find the Home Minister is strutting around like all over the country. He is responsible. And then the saddest part of the whole thing is that at a critical juncture, for almost 1 year, no present rule was enforced in Manipur. This again has gone very badly with the Western world because Manipur has a sizable Christian population and there was a BJP government in power and continued, and now the BJP chief minister has resigned and present rules in force, but that is almost 1.5 years too late. So, gentlemen, there is so many things to talk on here. The Indians are behind China, there's no doubt about it. And despite all the efforts of Narendra Modi, I think he's tried to make India forward. But when you say he Atmanirbhar and all that, it's a lot of bull. Nothing much has happened. Billions of dollars have been wasted by the Indians in making the fighter, the Tejas, and that is not even comparable to the F-35 is already operational. And I'm told that the Indian fighter will be ready by 2036, that 11 years more. And what the hell is going on? The Americans would have gone into something like the seventh generation fighter by then, and we'll be producing the fifth one after 11 years. Being from the Air Force, I can tell you the Indian aviation industry is a big zero. And I don't know why we should waste billions of dollars making an airplane when you can make the engine. The engine has come from America. And the Americans already always hold the tap in their hands. This is the problem with the F-35 because it's a wonderful plane, as I've told you. I've seen it, I've gone with the avionics it has. They are par excellence. The Russian fighter, the Su-57 doesn't compare, including the Chinese. Fifth generation plane which has come is no match to the F-35. But my point is, are they going to give everything along with it, or they are going to keep something back? And America is one of those countries which you really can't trust unless you go whole hog with them. So, gentlemen, I think I will close now. I hope you have liked my thoughts on these 2 points which I wanted to make. Modi's visit to America and the image of India abroad. It's a very sad situation. Something has to be done. And I'm afraid what was going on during the Congress regime is continuing during the BJP regime. And if this continues, I think the BJP will have a hard time in the 29 elections. Gentlemen, if you like this video, please share it with your friends. Come back for more. I like to comment on my video also. And in the meanwhile, I will say goodbye, God bless, and Jai Hind.